Greeting, beautiful beings. My video today is to talk about the afterlife and how lots of us aren't prepared for it and we haven't studied it the way that we should do. The matrix system as it is doesn't teach us about death. The matrix system itself wants you to maintain here. But life is a choice. Because there's information out there which is self-discovery. You can self-discover yourself and you'll come to realize that this is an entangled web. And this web that we live in, each strand of the web is something that you can relate to this earth. So what I want to propose to you is to imagine if you did die. You know, before it happens. And what would you encounter? So when you would die, you would leave the body, right? But the mind is so advanced that it would still see itself. And a web would be something that is familiar to you. So when you die, you're going to have this entanglement of web with your mind. And your mind will look for something which is related to itself. So, for example, if I can explain death, because I believe, or shall I say, I'm for sure there's universal law. So in a spiritual realm, there would be a council, there'd be gods, there'd be creators, there'd be workers, but they're all different ones. No different what you see in human existence. See, this world is a physical dimension of what you would see as heaven, but it's just a plane where both energies can come together and elaborate and express each other's feelings. So this world has a physical presence, what you would normally notice in a spiritual presence. So if there is a council up there with angels and demons, gods and creator, you would have something physical here very similar, which represents the same sort of thing. You know, like a moth to flame. So like here you would turn around and say you have an atom and an element, that's the man and the female, living in a nucleus, living in space. And that space would be your house. Yeah? You would have laws. You know, so like, you know, not guilty unless you're found guilty. So you'd have a court. You have to go to the courtroom. It's the same thing that you would have there before you go to the next dimension or level. We have different kingdoms here. We have food, you know, we have like obviously the tree kingdom, animal kingdom, human kingdom, fish kingdom. We've got lots of different kingdoms here. And they all live in a physical form. And only the spirit is the one that creates it. You know, the spirit gives it life. To be able to manifest and live on this planet, you have to have an avatar. So, only over time, when you are in this earth, this development of skills that we're trying to unlock or decode, ignorancy is not bliss. Because if you're ignorant and you do die, you will come back. And this is, how do I say it? This your fault, and it is your fault. You've been brought up in a system where the Matrix wants to live. So like the Matrix is the mother spider. The Matrix wants to live. It wants to catch you in the web. But it doesn't mean you can't choose a different path. And it doesn't mean you can't walk on the water. Because the Matrix system is emotion. It is 100% emotion, which is the mother spider. To be caught in the web, you have to relate yourself to this earth. So, when you die, you will be tested on stuff that you don't know and you do know. And the only thing that you don't know is something that you haven't practiced before. So, for example, you would go into a state and your mind will open up, and as it becomes one with the divine, you can be caught in the web. So, if I turn around and said to you that each planet is a portal, and to go through the portal, you have to not recognise the sound of the portal because you've never heard it on this earth. So, say for example, Saturn, which rules your ears, has a certain sound to it. And for you to leave out of Saturn with your frequency, there would be a noise that you've never heard before. And this noise will be very loud and will pierce you. And the light will be bright. But because you've never seen it before, because you are connected to this world, because you are of this world, you won't walk that way. You will also hear in the background a sound that you're familiar to. What on earth? It could be your daughter talking to you, or your son. It could be a loved one talking to you. Now, when you meditate, or if you do or you don't, if you close your eyes now, and you're in a position where you can close and relax, so you're dark, it's dark, and lights start appearing in your eyes. Okay, your third eye starts to open up. And then there's a sound in the background that wakes you up. Bang, you're straight back to earth. There's the web. You didn't hold your practice and leave your body. You did your practice, you started to go into meditation, and then there was a noise in the background and you open your eyes and you're back on earth. Something you recognise, something you can't ignore. And this is what I'm saying. When you die, you will be tested. Well, I'm asking you to learn a practice that you're able to observe. Observe and observe. And anything that you recognise, learn that it's been created. So if it's being created, it always exists. Earth will always be here. You don't need to be trapped on Earth. The Matrix system gives you different things that your parasites or other things can drive for. So like a parasite in the body, if it's about drinking, right? When you die, you're going to have a relationship to drink because the parasite drove you to the drink. So when you have this expression or smell or taste that your mind has done so many times, it represents earth, but you don't realise, but it's a comfort thing because drink was comfort to you, and drink you can forget about your problems. You would almost be tested because your mind has already been programmed to have it. It's like someone who does accounting for years and years and years. And what he does, he earns a certain amount of money, and then he books a holiday. A certain amount of money, he books a holiday. So he's been doing that for 18 years. How well do you think his mind is programmed to do the same thing? His mind is able to program itself to earn a certain amount of money before he can go on holiday. So then he experiences holiday by earning money. So when he dies, what do you think he's going to do? The program inside his head is running very strong. He hasn't programmed himself to, when he dies, he's going to meditate, and he's just going to go into a state where he's not swayed left or right. Going back to the physical thing about spiritual, so we have a physical world here which represents the same as the spiritual world. The physical world, if you can imagine, this is what death is. You go into a shop and you've got stairs running all the way to the top. And every time you go up a flight of stairs, there's a room, 2 rooms either side. And each room will have something that you relate to on Earth. So, one of the rooms could be a gym. The other room could be a casino. And then you go up the stairs again. If you manage to get past that, you go up the next step, and then you have a pub. Then you have food. And then you keep on going up, and you keep getting tested. Now, if you're able to manage to walk up the steps all the way to the top without coming off the steps, you make it to heaven. But you don't know that, because your mind has been programmed. Your mind has been programmed, okay, to find something that can find its fix, its craving, its desire that is created inside of its head. Repetition. That's the matrix system. The matrix system of the houses were full of stuff, full of other people's ideas. These are the parasites. The parasites don't want to go to heaven. You go to heaven, you imagine every time you go through a portal, a vibration goes onto the body and it releases whatever's there. Okay, yeah, the parasites stay in the body in the physical sense. But these are portals that you have to go through, that they can't exist. You cannot exist loving the pub in heaven. You can't. That emotion gets stuck there as you go through a portal. I'm not saying like you don't make it to heaven at all. I'm not saying that. A little bit of you might. A little bit of your energy might. Like I said to you before, when you go through the kingdom of heaven and, your steam was able to fill a room, some people's energy would have been taken off them as they go through the tests, and only a little bit survives. But, once you get to the heaven and you get, healed, you develop your gifts again, you remember who you are. As you jump through the portals again, you've got to grab every costume that you left behind. So every emotion that couldn't get through the portal will be waiting for you consciously. So your mind will jump back through the holes and pick up the consciousness that didn't get through. So the best way to bring your self-esteem, full room of steam, is when you go through the portals, you don't let your steam go in any of them rooms. You literally go where you haven't seen before. Go where you feel like you are fearing, because you don't know what it is. The dark is fearing. It is fearing because you can't see it. But if you learn a practice before you die, learn about death before you die, you've got nothing to fear. Because what will happen is, as you program yourself on this plane, you will learn to detach yourself from the matrix system, from emotion. You will learn to detach yourself from everything. Your daughter, father, your mother, your partner. Knowing they're just consciousness on their paths, and they're being created, and be created through you, not by you, through you. They're being created. And when your kid comes inside of you and you're created, remember they've had to jump through the portals to come through as well. And the last portal is obviously the female portal. So, you know, it's... I guess what all I'm trying to say is, it's just the matrix system that you live in at the moment is advancing on the times that we're living in. And whatever rock you lift up, the matrix system has already been there. Whatever we feed the matrix system, it becomes more wiser and clever. It doesn't want to die. That's why each car looks better and better every year. Each colour gets nicer and nicer and nicer. It wants to survive, because what it wants you to do is that it wants you to cling on to something and you get caught in the web of reincarnation or looping. It wants you, and it will hit you in all different angles. And the reason why Jesus said to go to the kingdom of heaven, you have once again become a child, because a child is not being programmed. Child is innocent. So if I showed him the light or something he didn't know, he would be inquisitive. He'd want to investigate it. You know, because it hasn't had years and years of programming. You know, so it would be interested in that, and then it would keep walking up. You know, if it doesn't know about, you know, the gym, it doesn't know about the pub, it doesn't know, because a kid can go anywhere and is still happy. Go anywhere. It's only us that, you know, like, it's not really tickling my fancy here. It doesn't feel quite great here. You know, what can we do next? My child or your child will be happy where it is, laughing and giggling. So it doesn't have to interfere. So it's teaching you to be like that again. Don't have them programs running inside your head. But like I said, it's such a clever system. Every rock unturned, the matrix system is there. Anything. You might like motorbikes. You might like rocks. You might like swimming. You might like beach. You might like. There must be something that you might like, and it will try to hold you to that. But what I'm saying is, you have to learn and practice. Practice, and you're able to sit when you die, see your physicalness, because it will be remembered. Your physicalness will remember. You know, your cells remember everything. You know, and the spirit is part of the cells. Okay, so when there's a detachment from oneself, it's a detachment from everything. Don't love anything physical, because you detach yourself from the body. The body is the one that loves the physical, which is physical. So then you, as a spirit, has to release yourself. And the matrix system will try to catch you there. But what you have to do is learn and practice. You're able to sit in these positions and call on your trainers and masters to guide you to become a child again, to walk up the stairs without coming off the yellow brick road, without coming off the yellow brick road. Because bits of you, so like, say for example, if you do come off it, and like I said, you will make it to heaven, you will make it there, but how much of you will go there? How much do you leave at the portal gates? All the different portals that you have to go through before you go to heaven. There might be like a little bit of you that vibrates so well it can actually get through the last portal, but then there's a small amount of you, a small part of consciousness. All the rest of you are left behind. So you have to jump back down again, go and pick them all up, go back onto Earth and learn again. Do you see? Anyway, learn and practice. Meditation is good if you can meditate your mind and not be distracted. So next time you close your eyes and you start to go into the zone, have a look what drops around you, makes a noise, and then you open your eyes and you'll be reincarnated back to Earth. There, bang. Distraction is key on this planet, and it's teaching you. It's the main thing. Okay, try to responsibility. You are walking on this earth. You can still eat, you can drink, you can have a good time, you can enjoy it. I'm not saying that you can't do any of that. All I'm saying is, you've got to start to learn a new practice to come away from that stuff and not be addicted to it. Not bring this parasite into fruition, because it's the parasite which feeds the matrix. Now listen, you don't see the parasite inside of you, but the parasite likes drama and karma. It likes you to rely on the matrix system to fill its needs, or fill your needs, but there'll be a parasite. Just so you know about the parasite inside of the body, right? This is how you work out there is one inside of it. Now, interestingly, I always think there's two drivers in your head. If you just imagine, like a bit like Star Trek, you have these two drivers, one in front of the other, one dark, one's light. The one at the front, which is the dark one, which is the parasite, right? You're sitting there, driving your vessel around, I'm hungry. So what it does, presses the button, and it teaches every single cell in the body, to walk to go and get his food. And then it even puts into a code, like a comedian, and it can change colours in a tree, right? We literally do that. If I'm thinking about going for a swim, there's something that triggers me, and then everything inside my body, or every single cell, is focusing on how to get to that swimming pool. Yeah, so boom, press the button, all the way through, you're thinking of something, now you want to go and do it. Right? That's that black person in the front. A dark energy. Okay? I'm just saying there's two figures, yeah? Could be the other way around, it doesn't matter. But there's two figures. Now, that parasite inside the body is in front of the other driver, which is you as a child, was a driver, and thinks it's driving, but it's on autopilot. It doesn't realise it's not actually driving. When you throw information like to that person, so say that person has a parasite inside of him, and I start firing out information to him about food, about routine, about practice, what happens is instantly the person I'm talking to goes on a defence. Yeah? And the reason why they go on a defence is because they don't want them words getting past them to wake up the driver, the true person, the true child inside of him. They don't want to wake that person up, because that person will then put his head around the other figure. He'll go, hold on a minute, I thought I was driving this vessel. But the parasite in the front will start arguments, it start backtracking, but if you're throwing light at him, there's nowhere to hide from that shade. Because the reason why they say that is because the light inside of the person will then realise there's a darkness inside of them. Hang on, who's this driving my vessel? It would look left and it would look right. Who's this? Because you get the attention of that person, the true person. And then it's an inwards battle. Because the parasite will go, no, you're wrong, mate, you're wrong. Because of the nurture, because of the matrix system, it will then go, no. Then it'll throw some stupid information. It'll throw that back out, thinking that will satisfy me. That'll get rid of that person who's mentioning about, you should eat this, you shouldn't eat this, you should do this. Or, just as soon as you tickle that parasite, you see it instantly. It's like walking in with your light on, torch all around you, you're glowing, and you walk into a dark room. Where's the shade going to go? It's gone. It's pushed out the back, and everything else vibrates at the same light. So all you're doing is that the parasite inside of you, remember that person there presses the button. He got loads of buttons to press. He presses that one, and then all the cells go, and they go, right, we're going to go and do that. Press that button. Right, I'm going to take some drugs now. Fancy some drugs. It's getting to Friday. I want to do some drugs. Press the button. Boom. Everything in the body wants to go and do the drugs. Everything. Gambling. That's what that's doing. It's keeping him. Yeah, how many times do you reckon that's why he's probably pressing the drums, playing the drums all the time. All the buttons he has to press. So all I'm saying is that there is a driver, but the driver is on autopilot. So when you fire information to that parasite, which is the driver of that vessel, because it's doing parasitic behaviours, what you're doing, you throw light at him, and he doesn't like it, because what you're doing is you're connecting to the real driver of that person. So he doesn't want you to be in an environment where you're healthy. He doesn't want you to have good things in your mind. He doesn't want you to investigate. He's the one who puts you to sleep when you pick up the Bible and start to read it. He's like, what do you want to read that for? I want you to go to sleep. You don't want to learn about that, because then you're going to get the attention of the light person inside of you. What do you want that for? Tell you what, why don't you just watch this movie which lasts 3 hours? Oh, well, you can sit there and watch a movie for 3 hours, but you can't sit there and read the Bible. It's always interesting when you start to investigate, when you start to teach yourself something. How quick the parasite is to make sure you don't finish any of it. How he just distracts you. Pressing that button. No, that one's not working. He's learning something. Press that button. Fuck it. Press the sleep button. Put him to sleep straight away. Bang, gone to sleep. Do you see? All I'm saying is that the system's so clever. It's all about detachment. Knowing that you've got something inside of you which is detached to everything on this world. Everything. Religion. Everything. And then you could follow something which is the right path and then go too far with it. I mean, how clever is that? You can find a religion which has got everything correct, and then you start following it and you go too far with it because you become it. So what the parasite does, it gives you give it room, it gives you room, you start learning something, and then it starts to investigate, how can I still be me in this situation? So what happens is the ego then starts to take over. Anyway, all I'm trying to say is that you just have to realise there's two people inside of you. Yeah. Don't worry about waking them up. Just do what you're doing. Learn your practice, because death can come at any time. Learn a practice that when you die, you actually walk away from this planet, and you take all your steam, and you go and fill that room, and you go through all them portals on your way home. You do. You go through every single one. Right? It will be hard, but it's all about detaching. Okay, you're here to learn.